Ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed colleagues, good morning. It is my pleasure today to discuss our research with all of you. The topic of my research is impact of democracy on tax revenue in Indonesia, direct and mediating factor. This research conducted in collaboration with Professor Eleonora Sofilda and also Dr. Syafri from Trisakti University, Indonesia. As we know, tax revenue is very essential for Indonesian national fiscal policy and economic stability. However, we have observed a persistent decline in the tax ratio over the past 2 decades, coupled with a failure to meet tax revenue target. At the same time, there is also a negative trend in the quality of democracy, characterized by fluctuation on an overall downturn trend as reported by Economic Intelligence Unit and Freedom House. The study also addressed the inconclusive research on the relationship between democracy and tax revenue, and also with a focus on Indonesia context. We have 3 research objectives. First of all is to understand the relationship between democracy, quality, and tax revenue. It is measured direct impact of democracy on the tax revenue. And secondly, to identify the direct impact of mediating factor. It is assessing the mediating effect of economic growth, government spending, and also tax compliance. And the third, to provide practical policy recommendation such as policies to enhance tax revenue within democratic governance. We draw on several theoretical frameworks. The public policy theory, as outlined by Thomas R. Gay in Understanding Public Policy, define the public policy as anything the government chooses to do or not to do. And also, we use institutional framework theory, as discussed by Di Maggio, emphasize the influence of political structure on policy outcomes, and also the importance of institutional trust and efficiency in the tax compliance. And slippery slope framework, as mentioned by Teacher in 2008, highlight how trust in and power of authority influence tax compliance. Our review of the literature shows that more democratic government often exhibit higher tax collection. However, contradictory findings in the developing countries indicate that high corruption and political fragmentation can hinder tax efficiency. There is a clear gap in the research specifically addressing the mediating factor. This is our research hypothesis. The first hypothesis is about the democracy quality in relationship directly increase the tax revenue, and that the impact of democracy on tax revenue is mediated by economic growth, government spending, and tax compliance. That is the second hypothesis. We expect to find that stronger democratic institutions correlate with higher tax revenue, with economic growth, government spending, and tax compliance mediating this relationship. Our study employed panel data from 34 Indonesian provinces from 2010 and 2020, sourced from the Indonesian Democracy Index, and then regional budget data, APBD, tax revenue, and social demographic from EBS. We use fixed effect and random effect model with Hausman test to determine which one is the appropriate model. And this is our model specification. The first model is to capture the direct effect of democracy on tax revenue. And the second model, it is to capture mediation effect. And the result for the direct effect, our findings indicate a significant positive impact on democracy quality on tax revenue, supporting the hypothesis that higher democracy quality correlate with increased tax revenue. However, as we can see from the result, the direct effect diminishes when considering mediating variable such as economic growth and then spending and compliance. For the mediation effect, analysis include the impact of economic growth, government spending, and tax compliance as mediator in this relationship. Mediation analysis help in understanding the indirect pathway through which democracy affect tax revenue. We see that the economic growth indicates a strong positive effect. And then government spending also positively mediates the democracy tax revenue relationship. And also tax compliance is a crucial mediator with strong positive effect as well. The impact on democracy tax revenue relationship is democracy enhance economic growth by creating a stable and transparent environment, thus expand the tax base, leading the higher tax revenue. For the government spending, higher democratic quality leads to increased public expenditure. It is follow the spend tax hypothesis. And democratic government foster trust and transparency, leading to higher voluntary tax compliance. In conclusion, democracy quality has a significant direct impact on the tax revenue through economic growth, government spending, and tax compliance. The direct impact of democracy on the tax revenue is minimal when not accounting for mediating factor. Economic growth, government spending, and tax compliance are critical pathway through which democracy influence tax revenue. For future research direction, further exploration of regional variant data and context-specific factor, it is suggested longitudinal studies to examine changes over extended period and inclusion of addition variable like corruption, political stability, and administrative efficiency. For policy implication, strengthening democratic institutions can be indirectly boost tax revenue. Policy should focus on improving economic growth, transparency in government spending, and fostering public trust. A holistic approach is essential to enhance fiscal sustainability and promote long-term economic prosperity. Recommendations here include enhancing transparency in government spending, fostering economic development, and to expand the tax base and promoting democratic practices to improve public accountability. That is all my presentation. I look forward to your question and a fruitful discussion. Thank you very much. Good morning.